Hey everyone, how are you doing? How are you actually doing? Like, for real, seriously, how are you doing? I just wanted to speak out and give a couple of insights on how I have been feeling for the last couple of months. So, COVID 19 hit in March, and I was working, gigging 6 nights a week, 5 nights a week until then. And all of a sudden, on March 16th, I came back to New York from gigs out of town because, yes, on the last week we could have gigs. I worked, as most of us musicians did, knowing that the virus was going to shut down everything because I am from Italy and all my friends were telling me that, the cities were getting shut down and people had to stay home and you needed like a certification to go out stating why you were going out. So the week of March, 9th through 15th was really hard because I worked, but I was aware that we were going to end up in the same situation as Italy. And I was seeing that people were not really responding to that. Or, some people were aware, but most were kind of ignoring it. And I mean, myself included, like I didn't ignore it, but I still decided to work until the last minute because the work was there and I decided to take the risk. And then, everybody's home. Everybody all of a sudden switched, to talk about, oh, I can't believe people are going out without masks. You have to respect distancing. People, you have to stay home. A lot of those people were the same people that when COVID hit originally were like, oh, this is not a big deal. We have to stay out. And so that's why I haven't really said much about it because I was aware of the problem, but I also knew that I took some decisions that might have not been the wisest decisions. So I just was like, people are always ready to bash everybody, but there has to be a little bit of an understanding of why people do things sometimes. Sometimes it's out of necessity, it's not because you just feel like it. So, starting there, a month into the pandemic, I started to realize, probably even before that as a blind person, for me, it was going to be very hard to get back any sort of normal life once the pandemic reaches a point of stability. Because New York City is still on lockdown. But when it reopens back up, it's not going to be, oh, everybody, let's get back to normal life. No, we'll all have to wear a mask. We'll all have to be distant from each other. And I am not saying that this is wrong. I actually absolutely agree with protecting one another. I would hate to get somebody sick. So I am not disputing this decision at all. I think this is absolutely the right decision and the right path. But the issue that I saw is that I didn't really see many people thinking or bringing up, oh, what about the people that actually do need to interact with others at a close vicinity like myself or anybody who has other needs like that? And I was talking to a lot of my blind friends, and everybody didn't even really want to talk about it because there hasn't really been awareness raised to it, So, with that in mind, all the events that happened in the last couple of weeks, awful, I think it's absolutely awful to kill somebody or even arrest somebody only based on the color of that person's skin, the way that person looks like. I have never seen a gun in my life. I have been living in this country for 10 years or so, and I've traveled by myself so many times, and I've never, ever, ever, ever even touched a gun. And I intend to keep it that way. I do not want to see a gun like pointed at me or feel threatened by it. So I consider myself very fortunate, and also very fortunate that I've never had to think about that issue. But I've been seeing posts from people where the question has been not if you've had a gun pointed at you, but how old were you with the first time you had a gun pointed at you? I saw a post from this black man that posted this, and then the video made it to CNN, and it was posted by a whole bunch of other friends of mine. And that made me think a lot, because I was just like, how is this a question? And if you look at the comments, there are people that are 15, 16 that respond and like, oh yeah, I was pulling up to my house and I was that happened in the driveway. And I was thinking, God, like, how traumatizing must that be? And also, I was thinking that how hard must it be for these people to share these experiences for all of us to see? Because I'm sure it's not like you're thinking, oh, I went to the grocery store or something like it's a memory it's a traumatic memory. So not only it's a traumatic memory in this kind of climate, you also have to expose yourself and be vulnerable to people's judgment, and you have to just like allow yourself to remember something that was very hurtful. Would I be able to share that experience? I am not sure. I'm not sure if I would be able to write somewhere for everybody to see, oh yeah, these are the details on how I got a gun pointed at me when I was 15, 14. I should, but would I be able to? I don't know. So with that in mind, I've decided that this month, and probably for a while, instead of doing birthday videos, I am gonna do protest songs, because I feel like it is more relevant to this climate. And I can't really go to protests by myself. I don't really feel like I can make an impact by doing that on my own. Like, it would be hard. And everybody, all of us have to find a different way to help out and support people that need help. And two more things. One thing that I think is important is to ask questions and be willing to listen to people that are different from us, to people that have faced things that we haven't faced. And I speak it to myself too. Like, a lot of people assume things about people that have disabilities, that are blind, without educating themselves. And so they jump to conclusions without asking any questions. You know how many times I've been told by people that I am actually sick, that I need healing? That's not something I want. I don't feel sick. I can't see. I do wish I could drive, but I don't feel sick. I feel like a healthy person who can't really use his eyes, but I can do everything else. And I embrace everything else that I can do. And I love to be included and be considered and treated the same as everyone else. And I feel like also a lot of the misconceptions that comes towards disability and blindness is because of people's ignorance, not necessarily because of anger or bad intentions. So there is a big difference in my eyes, in my mind, between that and racism. So this is why I think it's important to listen. And it's important to ask people, how are you doing? What do you think the issue is? How are you seeing the situation? And just allow people to express their feelings without feeling judged. Because I feel like that's part of the issue too. Like, we're always ready to tell people what they should do for their own benefit without understanding where that comes from, like, without really allowing ourselves to be in someone else's shoes, because no matter how hard we try, we can't completely understand how it feels to be different, how it feels to be in a position where you don't have as many opportunities as someone else. So let's start there. And I feel like that's like one of the two most important things. So listen and always have your ears open and your mind ready to be, open to new ideas. The second thing is that if we want to support the people that need help, we need to start buying from their businesses. And I'm guilty myself of not doing this. So I'm not telling you that I'm perfect, because I am not. I have not been, as considerate as I should be. But, supporting black businesses is important in these situations, because I feel like the issues that arise during protests and stuff, like it's important to protest, it's important to do all these things, it's important to stand up for yourself. But if the money starts going different places, then a difference can be made. And maybe, just maybe, there could be a little bit of a difference that we could actually make. And today I've donated to the Brooklyn Community Bail Fund. And, I'm going to attempt to be better at supporting, local businesses, black businesses, just businesses that work towards justice and have that, in mind when it comes to their ethic. Because I think that's important. Like the big corporations will always have, ways to figure things out, because, there's a lot of money behind that. And so, they'll be fine. But it's the local stuff. It's the small businesses that need the most support. So, this is also a memory and a memo for myself. We need to do better at doing this. And yeah, so I just wanted to give you a little bit of an update on what I'm doing and what I intend to do in the next, month or so, and probably keep going after that, because it's important to stand up to help each other out. And so, yeah, this is what I'm about. I hope you guys, I don't know if enjoy is the right word, but I hope you can get something out of this video. Who am I to tell you what to do? I'm not really trying to do that. I'm just trying to give you my perspective, and I hope that helps somebody. And thank you for the support, and thank you for everything.